Le haría muy bien a usted, dictador Ortega, recordar que la Iglesia Católica a lo largo de la historia ha vencido a demonios muchísimo más grandes que usted y que a su esposa, la satánica Rosario Murillo. Debe ser humillante que todos sepan que usted, a pesar de su título de presidente, ella es la que tiene el verdadero poder. Por eso no sorprenderá a nadie que usted es un hombre demasiado pequeño para acabar con una institución tan grande y legendaria de 2000 años como es la Iglesia Católica. Y por si usted no ha leído las Escrituras últimamente, déjeme decirle lo que dice el libro de Daniel en el capítulo número 5. El último rey de Babilonia también estaba borracho de poder y profanó a Dios. Y entonces apareció una escritura en la pared. Y esa misma advertencia aplica para usted el día de hoy. Sus días están contados. Ha sido pesado en la balanza de Dios y no pasó la prueba. Y todo lo que se ha robado del pueblo de Nicaragua se convertirá en añicos.
The most imminent prisoner who Ortega and Murillo were eager to get rid of, Bishop Rolando José Álvarez, the bishop of the Diocese of Matagalpa, refused to leave the country and accept expulsion. The bishop had repeatedly stated that he will not leave the country and abandon the people of Nicaragua, despite the regime's repeated threat of exile or jail. It reported that he said, "Let them go free. I will pay for the sentence." He was offering himself as a sacrifice for the good of others. Bishop Álvarez Lago, following in the footsteps of Jesus Christ, is the good shepherd who will lay down his life for his sheep. He is and remain today as the symbol of resistance in Nicaragua, never faltering in his struggle against tyranny and repression. I have recently been informed that no one close to Bishop Álvarez Lago knows where he is. His family has not seen him since he refused to board the plane to the US. They have not been allowed to visit him, bringing his medicine, food, or even water. I am deeply concerned for his safety, and I'm asking that the Ortega regime make a proof of life, and that you here in Congress demand that the Ortega Murillo regime present a proof of life.
As I stated in my testimony during a congressional hearing back in 2019, Ortega constitutes a clear danger not only to the people of Nicaragua, but also to the hemisphere. Ortega is a relic of the Cold War, and he embodies a legacy of oppression against human dignity. Almost 4 years have passed in my previous testimony here, and also my testimony at the United Nations Security Council. And despite all the efforts by the international community, the Ortega regime has only grown more ruthless. His ties with China, Iran, and Russia are stronger, and he has not been shy about expressing his hatred of the United States. It's time to move on to a new stage of greater pressure, where all the tools of diplomacy are used with all their might, including the closure of direct financing channels to the dictatorship. The former political prisoners who boarded that plane are Nicaraguan patriots who never thought of living outside our beloved country. These former political prisoners are facing great vulnerability, and therefore I respectfully ask you to consider granting an accelerated path towards political asylum. In addition, we ask the administration to sign a new TPS assignment that benefits thousands of our brothers who were forced into exile during our kidnapping. Bishop Rolando Álvarez, the bishop of my own diocese, I come also from Matagalpa, refused to board that plane. He refused to be forced into exile, and he refused to be released because other 37 political prisoners remain locked up. Such a courageous act of peaceful resistance cannot be ignored by the world. I am here before you to ask you for your greatest effort to put pressure on the Ortega regime through all available diplomatic measures for the immediate and unconditional release of Monsignor Álvarez and all political prisoners in Nicaragua.
My story is the story of hundreds of Nicaragua who decided to defend freedom, justice, and democracy. 1 year and 8 months, 611 days behind bar, kept in captivity, suffering injustice. But all those days only reinforced my determination to fight for freedom and to fight for democracy. The lack of freedom and the lack of democracy in Nicaragua is the result of an absolute destruction of the state of law in Nicaragua, which started after the rise of power of Daniel Ortega in 2007. Today, as the result of this authoritarian project, in Nicaragua, there is no law, there's no media, and there are no civil rights. The repression against the Catholic Church in Nicaragua is unprecedented in the history of Latin America. Nicaragua is one of only 14 countries without diplomatic relations with the Holy See, and the only one in the region. During the popular and peaceful protests of April 2018, church leaders stood firm in front of the abuses, the death, and violence that erupted from the government. From the beginning, Bishop Alvarez was a critic of the regime and soon began to be the focus of police harassment, which led to his house arrest August 19, 2022. Alvarez was not the only one captured. 5 other priests, 5 seminarists, and support personnel from Alvarez dioceses were taken. We shared jail with them. We saw their suffering, but also we saw their strength, given by the faith and the strong ideas and principles of their leader, our Pastor Alvarez. I asked one of the priests in jail what the police claimed to be was his crime. He said the police captured him because of something that he said in his sermon. When a priest is put in jail because of this, how lower can a dictatorship can go? Unfortunately, members of this committee have to say that Ortega's dictatorship can go even deeper. He knows no limits. Many of us paid with our own freedom the act of resistance against tyranny and oppression. We need the international community to help us Nicaraguans in our fight for democracy and freedom. It is crucial to maintain pressure against those responsible for crimes, deaths, and abuses. I believe that justice will prevail, but only if we maintain as a unified force to combat oppression.
As Nicaragua becomes more autocratic, it's deepening its ties to China and Russia, granting them influence less than 2,000 miles from our border. As the ongoing abuses against the Catholic Church and the broader society demonstrate, there is no time to waste in developing an effective strategy for stymieing the dictatorship's negative influence in the region. I would like to propose a few areas of bipartisan engagement, if I may. In particular, the U.S. can work with Costa Rica and other democracies in the region to expand the Alliance for Development and Democracy and advance high-level regional dialogue. Second, the U.S. must continue to use its voice, vote, and diplomacy within the Organization of American States to hold Nicaragua accountable for violations of the Democratic Charter. Fourth, the U.S. government has diplomatic and economic tools to ensure that the international funding and trade are not propping up Ortega Murillo's regime. In this regard, the U.S. should continue to focus sanctions on gold mining, energy, lumber production, sectors that threaten the economic interests of the Nicaraguan regime and the military, and for their partnership that they have developed with the Nicaraguan diaspora in the U.S. to meet legal, housing, and mental health needs of the former prisoners, many of who come from modest, rural economic backgrounds. In the meantime, though, I urge Congress to grant federal resources so that these heroes can access mainstream benefits and reduce their day-to-day struggles and can concentrate on reuniting with their families. We also urge the administration to assign new TPS status for the Nicaraguans fleeing the repression.